This is the recording that I'm wanting to do with all of my elders. And what you see in front of you now is my Uncle Sammy. This is our 2018 reunion. And I was wanting to express or have them express to those of you that will be privy to these DVDs that will be disseminated by my uncles and my aunts at a later date, what is moving them about the legacy that's been left behind by their parents. And think in the book of Deuteronomy, it makes reference to, it's a commandment that God has said. And the commandment is to talk to your children about me. He was talking about God to them. And your children's children that are not even born yet will be blessed. This legacy is a promise that God has made. These Trianas that you see behind you is a promise that they kept. So we are blessed through the grace of Jesus Christ, but it's because of their effort. And able to look back now at my Uncle Sammy and recognize that. So I leave the rest of the time to my uncle to share whatever's on his heart to his children and this reunion that we're having today. Uncle.
Well, we're here at the 2018 Triana reunion, and it brings back memories of when my dad and myself would go horseback riding. At that time, my brother Manuel was in the military, so my dad and I took care of his horse there at home, and on weekends, my dad and I would get up at 4 o'clock in the morning. My mom would make us a lunch, coffee, a thermos with coffee, and we would saddle our horses, our saddlebags, and we'd take off onto the riverbed and go all the way into Santa Paula and then right back along the river, and then we would stop and have lunch. And we would take the saddles off our horses, tie them up, and then we would make a little fire, and my dad would start to tell me stories about how when they were young, they used to get together with my uncles, my aunts, and I remember going way back, wow, I can't even remember the years, but we would gather together over in Santa Paula at Stecker Park, and of course, they would have this reunion. And my dad, I remember my dad telling me, he said, son, he says, as we get older, I don't know how much longer we're going to be here with you. He says, do me a favor, why don't you talk to the family and have them get together at least once a year for a reunion. And I remember my mom talking to me about having one. And I remember the first one that we had was right there in Saticoy by the golf course at, I can't remember the name of the church, but anyway, that was our first reunion, and it started from there. And going back about talking about the family, I remember Sammy, my son Sammy Jr. and his wife, his kids, my grandkids, they were there at the first reunion, and I think they made 2 or 3 of them. But after that, they started getting busy with a restaurant that they have in Ventura. His in-laws passed away and they took over the restaurant, and that's why they hardly are able to make any other reunions, because they're pretty busy with the restaurant. But going back and listening to my dad tell me all kinds of stories, talking to me about the Bible and how God would demand that we as children love our parents, and he would do the same. He would definitely show his love towards us. I can't remember a holiday or that we would go without. We would always have something to wear to Sunday school. I remember having clothes to wear for Easter and toys for Christmas, shoes. We never went without. My dad and my mom always supplied our needs, and I remember me and Aaron and my nephew Ralph as kids, we would play military, and we would get Ralphie and pack him with with pans and potatoes, and we would head on down to which is called Pata Larga. That's where my aunt Tia Chita lived, and we would go down there and somewhat camp underneath the railroad bridge, and we would cook potatoes in water. Well, anyway, those were days that I will never forget. My brother Manuel told me one day, he said, you know, Sam, since when we were kids, we had the life of Tom Sawyer. We would go and camp at the riverbed and not have a worry about being kidnapped or being molested. It was such a fun time. And having these reunions, we can't go wrong. Aaron and my daughter-in-law Mary and my grandkids AJ, Aiden, Annika, we were so much looking forward to coming to this reunion, and that's the way it should be. And it's nice to see how the family is growing, the new additions. Danny Boy being a grandpa, got to meet his little boy today. His grandson. So what I have to say as far as my heart going out to you is that keep doing what you're doing. Let's pray for one another. Keep each other in prayer. We can't go wrong if we do that. I miss my sister. She went on to be with the Lord. You know, she was my mom and dad and some of our loved ones. We just lost my mom's last sibling, my Aunt Julia. She was 95 years old. I was happy to be able to visit her before she passed away. And she would also tell us stories about when they used to get together in the reunions. So we brought that our reunion up to her, and she started remembering about the reunions that they had. Well, now all of them are gone. There's not a one that's left alive right now. And what I do have, the news that I have, and it's good news, is that my brother Danny, when he went to visit her, he led her to the Lord. So we know exactly where she is at, rejoicing with my mom and dad and our family that has gone to be with the Lord. And again, I can't stress enough how important it is to keep having these reunions. It's so important for our children to be able to see their cousins and how, you know, we're growing as a family. So all I can say is that keep praying, trust in the Lord. We can't go wrong if we do that. He said He would be with us even unto the end of the world. And God does not lie. He keeps every single promise He has made. So with that, I'd just like to say thank you for having me, and bless all of you. That's my prayer, for you to be blessed. Thank you.